So what is next? Well, today I got another deck profile for you guys. Majin Buu deck profile because I'm a big fan of Majin Buu. Change it up a little bit with blue and yellow, unlike the other times. I feel like this is the most consistent build because it puts a lot of pressure on my opponent, and it actually allows me to get to turn 4 and turn 5 and things like that and pull off my Majin Buu combos. I know it sounds kind of crazy to put swap in it, but like putting an aggression, my opponent stops them from making their plays as well. And then also allows me to get the hand advantage, allows me to awaken, it allows me to really do what I want to do. So get right into it. If you guys don't know what the leader already does, Majin Buu leader, you can't use Overwhelm because you can't warp the drop area, unfortunately. But that's okay because we actually want to keep our Majin Buus in our drop. We don't want to get them out because we want to swap with our leader's effect, which is activate main once per turn, burst 3. So we do want to burst sometimes, just kind of get some of that blue or Majin Buus in there. And try not to hit obviously like our unyieldings and our sensibilities, but we're okay hitting our super combos because we kind of need those in the drop to kind of get our effects going off our skills. But once per turn, you choose one of your energy, and then burst or choose one of your energy. Then you may take that energy and put it into the drop area, and then swap it with a Majin Buu card. Any Majin Buu, red, blue, black, it doesn't really matter. But right now we're specifically going to be using the burst effect, just try to get 7 in our drop, just so we can use a lot of our sparking abilities and things like that. So typically what I do is use activate main and burst 3, but I won't send my energy to the drop. I typically would charge a yellow energy and keep the yellow energy there for like Nimbus, and then for my one drop yellow card swap cards. But I will just target it, but I won't send it to the drop because there's no yellow boost, so I don't want to really tap it out, but I'll just burst 3. And then it has an auto as well. When this card attacks, draw 1 card, so you don't have to worry about attacking the leader. You can attack any card. Then on its awakened side, you have Majin Buu ability absorber. So it has the same activate main once per turn, but without burst. So you can target energy, but you won't get the burst, so we don't need to do that anymore unless we absolutely necessarily have to swap the blues out. But if I charge 2 yellows, then I'll take a yellow off sometimes. But I always want to make sure I have 1 yellow there just for my protection. Like I said, we do play Nimbus in here, so we want to make sure we have that. But it has a Sparking 7. When this card attacks, you draw 1 card, and then you get 5,000 attack power as well. So it gets up to a 20k attacker after 7 cards are in your drop. But it still has that permanent, you can't warp from your drop area, unfortunately. But once you have 7 cards in your drop area, you can use that Sparking effect, which is really good. So we're playing the same 2 super combos. We got Boo Boo Volley, SS3 Gotenks, and we have Great Saiyaman Talent Hero. They're both Sparking 5s, so have 5 in your drop, and you'll be able to use these super combos. Even though we're awakening pretty fast, we want to use these guys because they work with our deck. They're still Gotenks, and it's still Sun Gohan Adolescence, which we need for our bigger Buu combos. Then we're running 4 Adulterated Evil Majin Buu because this is what really starts the deck. If we can get this after we burst, if we can get this in our hands and we play it, it only costs 1 energy to use that skill, which is if your leader card is a Majin Buu card, which is our leader is, you can choose 1 Majin Buu card from your energy area and then play it with the energy cost of 3, and then put the Unadulterated Evil Majin Buu in your energy area in rest mode. So it just swaps them out, just the same Buu mechanic we discussed before. So after that, it's really good to have that guy in your hand because he adds a Buu to your hand as well. So you can add another Unadulterated Evil Majin Buu back to his hand after you swap them out. So typically what I do is I play Unadulterated Evil Majin Buu, and then I use its skill, swap it out for that Majin Buu Anticipating Evil. Then I use the Majin Buu's leader's effect, and then send that Unadulterated Evil energy to the drop area, just so when I play another Unadulterated Evil Majin Buu, I can pick up another Unadulterated Evil Majin Buu. So it's kind of like a little cycle going on back and forth, so I can just keep playing my Majin Buu plays anytime. So every turn it's accessible. Then we have 1 Unyielding Spirit Trunks, which since our leader card is blue during our turn, when we combo with this card, we can turn 1 energy to active mode. Any energy, even if it's even if we're all tapped out, which is really good. So we're playing one of these guys because they really need them. It's really key to have that 1 energy when you tap out for like your bigger combos, and you can kind of just untap real quick to kind of get your plays keep going. And typically I would just untap a yellow energy for safety, like I said, for Nimbus and things like that. But we are running 8 negates in this deck because we need to survive. Then we have Majin Buu Anticipating Evil. This is where it starts the chain, or mid-range chain. It has a permanent. If this card would leave the battle area, you can pitch 2 cards from your hand to the drop area to instead, so it stays in the field regardless. Like it doesn't have barrier or anything like that. But if something's trying to remove it, you can just pitch 2 cards, no matter what it is, through, I believe, through a skill. Yeah, if it's through a skill or anything like that, you just pitch it off. So you kind of want to keep this guy in active mode, but he does have a really good active auto skill. When this card attacks, you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards for energy cost of 4 or less and place it at the bottom of your opponent's deck. I mean, that's pretty good. So I typically do attack with this guy and try to save him with super combos and negates. Then we're playing. Or then we have activate main here for 1 blue and 1 any energy. If your lead card is a Majin card, which is ours is, you can choose 1 Majin Buu card in our energy area with the energy cost of 4 and play it, and then swap it out with this card. That's really good right there because it really follows our combos. But then we have, for more Gotenks and then more Sun Gohan Adolescents, we have quick thinking Gotenks and we have Sun Gohan ability obtained. The reason why I chose these guys is because this one has evolved, but we don't, or union, but we don't really need that. But it also has critical, so it does apply the pressure on our opponent. And when this card attacks, it draws 1 card, so that's really good. It also has another auto with the Union, but we don't Union in this deck with him, so our Union fusion, so we don't really care about the secondary effect. But then Sun Gohan ability obtain, he has dual attack. He's a 19k guy, so it's really good for us that if we do decide to play him, we can actually put a little bit of pressure on our opponent still with crit and dual attack. But for another Majin Buu card, we have Prodigious Absorption Majin Buu. He does have barrier, and when this guy is played from the energy area, you can choose 1 card from your drop area and place it underneath them. It doesn't have to be Gotenks, but we're mostly going for Gotenks. Just because when a Gotenk is underneath this card, it has to activate main once per turn. You can play 1 Gotenks token, or 1 Majin token, which 15k attack, which is a lot of pressure for attacking like even an awakened leader, and it has 5k a combo power, so that's really good too, just in case you don't want to attack with them. But then it has another activate main, for the cost of 3 blue and 1 any blue energy. Ability card is a Majin card, which ours is again. We can play 1 Majin Buu card from our energy area with an energy cost of 7 from our energy area, and then replace it with this card. But it goes into rest mode, unfortunately. The energies when you replace them, but that doesn't really matter so much because we do have so much untapped energy. And like I get it, like our deck is susceptible to like Borgos and things like that, but we kind of and the Whis and things, and that does put a damper on us, and the Dendays especially. But we do try to. This is the best way I can play it because every deck pretty much has a silver bullet or a weakness. But then we have our 7-drop, we have Ultimate Absorption Majin Buu. It has triple strike. It has auto. When this card is played from the energy area, you can place 1 card from your drop area to underneath this card and tap 1 energy. And the card we're going to be looking for is the Sun Gohan ability obtains. We only run 4 of them, so we really want to try to get 1 in our drop area when we drop this by turn 4 or turn 5. Then has a really good auto once per turn. When this guy attacks, if you have a Sun Gohan Adolescence underneath this card, you can choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards and then place it underneath this card and switch this card to active mode. So this is before the damage step, so you can't get Shigasta or anything like that, which is really nice. I had an opponent who basically had the Brawly chain, and he didn't want me to take his Brawly because he knew he wouldn't get his skill. So what he did instead, he like used Wrathful Charge, and to like KO it, then bring out another Brawly. Then I was like, okay. And I basically said that's fine. I drop 1 card, and then I use my auto still, because my auto is going to go off regardless. Like you don't have to, like if he would have just left nothing there, then that's still a plus for me. I got rid of a Brawly for free, and then but he didn't want me to take his Brawly, so that's fine. So I ended up swapping to the 8-drop Brawly, and I took it because he couldn't KO me because I'm taking his card first. And I ended up hitting him with a triple strike after that because he already used his energy before, or already used his energy to try to stop my attack, my initial attack. So that's really good right there. So that's it for our Majin Buus. Then we go into our swap engine. We have Adoptive Father Sun Gohan, he's a blocker, which is really good, but we're mainly using him for his swap mechanic because for a cost of 1 energy, he can swap into a 2-drop. Now we're running 6 2-drops in this deck, but before we go into that, we got our main guy here, Bardock. So it's like when we play Bardock, we can take a life so that he's going to be our Self-Awakener, and we can keep replaying him. That's what we're basically going to keep doing. Like every turn, we're going to keep replaying him, and then just try to awaken as fast as we can. He puts a lot of pressure on our opponent before awakening because he's a 10k, so we can play him, attack with him, and then swap them out and attack with something else. And everyone kind of already knows the swap mechanics. I don't really need to go into that. But then we're playing 2 Carrying Mother Videls, just because it gives one of our battle cards 5k attack power and also lets us draw more, which we need to keep up our hand advantage. Then we're playing 4 Dependable Dynasty Son Goku, because this is the card that puts on the pressure. Because it's a 2-drop, you can easily play for free, and then we can put that 15k pressure on them. Now for our negates, we're playing blue Dimension Magic, so untap our blues, because we do untap out. Tien will destroy our deck, that is very true, but we're still going to play against it because we do want to play Majin Buu to the best of its ability. For this card, if your lead card is blue, negate the attack and then untap 2 blues basically, so that's really good. And you can play it for sparking, so you can take a life and play this card. Then we're playing 4 Senzu Beans. We can choose one of our cards. For the cost of 1 blue, we can choose one of our cards to give it 5k attack power, and then we can untap 2 energy. It doesn't have to be blue energy, we can tap a yellow energy too if you want to. They're running 3 Successor of Hope because we want to get these swap combos off as fast as we can, just because it allows us to add 1 Goku lineage card with the energy cost of 5 or less, I believe. Yeah, 5 or less with swap in its name. So it allows us to grab Adopt a Father, Bardock, and Dependable Dynasty Son Goku. So that's really good. Then we're running 4 Flying Nimbus because we want to shut down any aggressive deck that's trying to aggressively shut us down. Because we don't want to play aggressive, but we have to play aggressive to basically put a stop to our opponent's move. So for this card, it negates the attack with 1 yellow, and then you can pitch another yellow card, which you have quite a few yellow cards, and then your opponent can only attack 1 more time with another battle card. So if they attack with their leader, that negates that attack, and they can only attack 1 more time at all. That's really good. If they attack with a battle card, they get that attack, and they have technically 2 attacks left, 1 with their leader and 1 with another battle card. So that's basically the best build I can do with Majin Buu because of the constraints. At first it was just really slow. Like I tried to build so many different styles, and then I just came to the conclusion that swap makes everything better. It just does, like, in my personal opinion. You can't run this deck in Shinron because of the cards restriction, but you can definitely run swap in this deck because there's no restriction on swap. There's no Goku lineage or anything like that, and like you guys already know me, I always complain about that, or I always bring that to light. Like, you know, I like the reason why these cards are broken or busted in my mind because there's no restriction. Like, these cards are really good because they just don't have the restriction. So until then, I'm going to be playing these cards in my deck. My last original Majin Buu build with the energy Vegeta, it also had the swap, but it had Gold Tanks in it, and it had 4 unyieldings, and that deck was very superior at the time because it was just really good. Because everyone knows energy lock Vegeta, or energy Vegeta, was really good because you can charge your energy, charge your Majin Buu, pick it up to your hand, and then just keep doing an onslaught. And because the Majin Buus were Universe 7 as well, you can play that 3-drop Majin Buu with ease without worrying about what energy you're using, and that was really good. But now times have changed, and this is what we have to keep playing now. So give this, if you have the cards, definitely test this deck out. It's really fun. I enjoy playing it. It gives people, I mean, I wouldn't say it's definitely meta still with this because it's really easy to kind of counteract this. Like I said, you got Borgos, you have Tien, you have Whis, you have a lot of Dendes, you have a lot of things that could definitely take this deck down. But it's really fun to actually put pressure on your opponent, stop them from what they were doing because they're afraid that you might aggressively approach them with your cards, so they're able to get that your Majin Buu combos off, and that feels really good to be able to get that instead of waiting, because they know what you're doing, so they're holding Preemptive Strike, or they're waiting, they're holding Cold Bloodlust to stop you. But oh, excuse me for that, guys. But they won't be able to do that. So, yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you guys liked the video, please do like the video. Apologize for that cough there. If you guys have something to say, please do comment down below. And if you guys are new, please do subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys for everything, and I hope to see you guys next